What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the HTM Buddy build of the U.S.S. Reliant. I'm Jordan with Reliant the Stars.
And I'm Ken with Ken's Hobby Bench.
And today, I guess, well, we'll talk a little bit about what we've done, what we're going to do, and a bit of a special announcement just because the person who is kind of inspiring this build continues to inspire this build. So, Ken, I guess to kind of recap what you got done last week before we start talking about all that, what did you get done last week?
For me, mostly was the big thing for me was the roll bar here. I trenched out my um, uh, uh, arms here, I guess, for lack of a better word,
Yep.
to so I can run my wires in here. I replaced the I put these little vent pieces in here, I guess you would call them. So I got
Yeah.
those in, and got the whole thing light blocked and ready for getting some lights in. And then
Fantastic.
I also put a little bit of photo etch on my bridge. So that's kind of what I
Excellent.
got done. How about you?
Well, for me, so it's a tale of two nacelles, so to say. There's a nacelle sitting and drying right now. It's got the light blocking primer on the inside of the nacelles. What I did basically was kind of limited in what we're going to be talking about here in the coming up little bit for the kind of special announcement we're talking about. And it's not really I don't know if it's really an awesome special announcement, but it is an announcement. But it kind of got me thinking. There's a lot more detail to this build, and so I didn't get much done from the sense of like big progress being done. I did get my LEDs burned in. What initially was going to be for my running lights, but in talking with everybody on the HTM stream um, yesterday on the Sunday stream, they're like, if you use 0402s, it will look a little bit better. And so I was like, yeah, you're kind of right. And so what I got done this week for this nacelle and the other is I went ahead and drilled out this hole for the little red crystal that sits on top. It's either red or blue. I've seen it in both ways, so I'm kind of curious. Um, Got that drilled out. I got the nav beacon light at the back drilled out as well. That's where the 0402 is going to wind up fitting in place. And then I also drilled out these two holes. This one did not turn out so well. But the other side did really well. I need to putty these in and reapproach it. But these are a couple of the spotlights that actually spotlight onto the saucer on the bottom half of the saucer. So got those done. And that's pretty much well it. So once again, kind of not a lot done, but there's a lot to think about for the coming up part of this build. And so I guess before we talk about what we're going to be doing next, because this directly influences it, Ken, tell us a little bit about the special announcement that we're going to be talking about.
Okay, so because of Will at the ensign's chair, he's come up with some more excellent modifications for this kit to accurize it, to a greater degree. So we're kind of thinking, because he's still coming out with stuff, and we're catching up to where he's at, and
Yeah,
and the way it is, we're actually looking to surpass him, and you know, uh,
which is crazy.
probably, yeah, it is. It is kind of crazy. I mean, I'm retired, and I'm kind of forcing Jordan to go around, faster. But I
Yep.
mean, Will's working hard too, and he doesn't necessarily have the time to, work on this kit, you know, all the time. But he did come out on his latest video here, just, I believe, on the weekend with some new modifications, and I'm going to show you what they are. So he apologized to us on camera because we put in these shuttle bay door areas that he had designed, but he's now redesigned them again, because when you look closely at the model, um, there is actually a piece of machinery right here by this light. So he is, yeah, so he's redone the whole bay, And he said he is going to try and do an extra piece to add on that maybe that might work as well. So
Sweet.
hopefully, if not, we could always just put some sort of styrene piece if we wanted to go for that detail. Another one he's done is he's actually done a resin replacement for this grill here that we did in photo etch. So he's got that as an option. He says it's easier to put in place than the photo etch. I wouldn't bother switching over myself. I would just leave my photo etch in place because I don't see anything wrong with it. It looks good.
Same.
And then further on the back here, the impulse engine housing, he's replaced that because this one here is actually too small. So,
Wow.
and the detail is incorrect. So this detail is actually backwards, and then there should be a little bit more detail here, and then down here in the cheeks, and then of course increased size. So he's done that now as a resin piece, which has a clear insert that you can insert with 2 spots for the red LEDs on either side, and then a third spot for an orange one in the middle to kind of give it a nice
balance out the color.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's
Oh,
done
cool.
that as
Oh,
well
all
as
is one light box, huh? One big
yeah,
light box.
yep.
Oh, wow. Like
And
it.
then the grills over the impulse engines he's done in um, resin as well to go in there, but it will also work with the um, ParaGrafix set for the
Okay.
grills that they have. So you could use either or. So
The
that's
ones I've
kind of what
already
he's done
installed.
on the back. So looks really good.
Awesome.
Now, on the bottom of the ship, he has completely replaced this piece here. There was a viewer, I think, who had notified Will that this is incorrect, and I believe
All three of us, right?
yep. And so what it is here, this piece here shouldn't be curving with the shape of the hull, like it is. Like it shouldn't have that. It should be more
It shouldn't be
straight.
concave.
Yeah, shouldn't
Yeah.
concave. It should be straight. So he's got a replacement piece for that, which includes some vents on the front here, which go in there.
Cool.
And then he's also got replacements for these 2 areas here and here. So yeah, he's done a lot of work.
More mods. Oh,
Yep.
man. Love it. Yeah, he's doing a lot of there's not much of this model that's going to be stock.
No, for sure. Another mod we haven't got yet, but I'm gonna talk to Cass over at Lake Monster Details, who's making all these great parts that Will's designing. We're talking about the replacement fins, which are 2-piece. So it'd be a resin fin that replaces this, but in this corner here, it would be cut out with a clear piece that goes in
RCS.
instead, and it's tunneled out for light. So you have holes, or so you'd have your light here in this corner here, and on the back here for your RCS thrusters.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow.
So we'll ask about that. I think we mentioned in a previous video as well. He had just done a piece that was missing from the inside of the super phaser that replaces this side. Yeah, this side. So we have on this super phaser here, right here, we have these 2 bumps, which are mini phasers, I guess, by the looks of it, Will was saying, and they do kind of look like it. He's given us resin replacements for it, but on the other side, wrapped around to the inside, there's some other shaped piece that's missing. So he's also designed that. So which should just be a paste on piece in comparison.
Nice.
So those were the
Okay.
best ones. So yeah, those are kind of the things we're looking at right now. So which is kind of causing us to have to slow down, really.
Yeah. Well, I guess on that front, then the announcement is that we are going to be slowing down. We're not going to still going to be releasing episodes every single week, but the content is going to be probably, at least from what I can suspect, at least half of this conversation that you and I are having, and then probably the other half of a very small portion of the build while we're waiting for the stuff to arrive. So shorter episodes on the build going forward, as we've pretty much all caught up with Will. Um, yeah, I think the thing that's pretty much all the gist of what we're looking at right now.
Yes, shorter or just more um, intense on a single subject.
Right, exactly, exactly. I'll
So,
probably spend a couple of, like, I mean, I'll probably have like 3 episodes just on the nacelles, probably a couple episodes on the roll bar itself, just like getting that done. Because as soon as this portion of the nacelle is done, at least for me, this coming up week. So I guess that kind of leads into what we're going to be doing this week. So did we already talk about that? What we're going to be doing this week?
uh,
I don't think,
no,
did I?
no, we
No.
didn't.
So I guess on that front, for at least for me, I'm going to be taking care of the rest of the light blocking and getting my chiller grills masked off and getting them painted out, getting all that ready to go, and then kind of like taking a bit of a pause and taking a look and maybe moving on a little bit to the roll bar, but just kind of taking a pause and figuring out exactly what needs to be done from a lighting perspective, getting some soldering done, and continuing to work on like getting putty work done because I've gotten I got the saucer all extra putty work all done on the saucer, and I've started working around the outside here. So getting all the stuff tidied up. I think the slowdown is probably not going to be the worst thing in the world for us right now. So that's what I got going on. What are you going to be doing this week?
Well, I got my main goal accomplished last week of getting a lot of the side and the back of my head filmed. I was really, I knew I needed to do that, so I got that done, and you can see
Yep.
some of it in the video from last week. My
Yeah.
apologies.
Yep.
So yeah, no,
Check that box for sure.
um, no, but so I've changed my camera angle. But on a serious note, yeah, I'm going to be just working on my roll bar assembly here. I probably won't be working on the sides of it yet. I'm just going to mostly work on the photon torpedo area, get my photons put in, get my flasher light put in, and yeah, go from there. I think that's going to be
Okay.
my episode, and then probably the week after that will probably be when I start moving towards the nacelles as well.
It's funny is like we going in opposite directions but getting the same amount of work done. I love it.
Yep.
Love it, love it, love it. Awesome, man. Well, that's going to be a good start for this week. And appreciate all you guys for the understanding in advance as we wait for parts to arrive as this build continues to get a little bit more complicated. But I think complicated is not necessarily the word. Accurate and taking the time and care to make sure that even this 537 kit, which is like we're all waiting for the 350, right? We're all waiting for the 350 Reliant.
Oh, we
So
are.
while we wait for that 350 Reliant, which we hope has this much detail, the endeavor here to create the most movie accurate 537 Reliance out there. Like if the three of us, me, you, and Will, have these and we can inspire other people to build them, the more the merrier, I think. So
Oh, exactly. I think that's our goal.
exactly. Exactly. All right, my friend. Well, do you got anything else for us before we head off for our builds this week?
No, I think that's it. I just want to say, uh, everybody, if you're feeling like you are struggling and you need to talk to someone, do so. Reach out and talk to someone. We had
Yep.
someone um, that was part of our group that has been reaching out, and I just think it's important that people do that.
Indeed. Indeed. All right, my friend. Well, good luck with your build this week, and we'll definitely catch up same bat time next week.
All right, sounds good.
All
Take
right, buddy.
care. All right, so here we have it. My roll bar area that I'm going to be working on today, or for this episode. I have this little area here needs filling, just right up in here. There we go. And hopefully you'll all be happy to know that my camera angle has been adjusted, so yes, my head won't be in the way. And I now have my big computer screen sitting here in front of me, showing me what my camera sees. So I'll be able to see when my noggin gets in the way. But to start filling this in, I'm going to get some of my filler, which in this case here is going to be the Mr. Dissolved Putty again. Let's give that a bit of a shake. And usually I just apply it with a toothpick. Let's take a toothpick. Let me get my magnifiers on to help. And there we go. We'll take some of this putty, salt putty, and we'll just kind of work it in around there. There we go. Just like that, we'll let that set. Simple as that. May take a couple coats with a little bit of cleanup in between, but that's just fine. We'll let that dry for a few minutes, then I can flip this over and we'll start working on some other stuff on this side. But for now, I'll get set up and we'll get a little light put in right here. All right, for my light in here, I'm going to use an 0402 warm white. And what I'll do is I'll try to open this up and show you what size we're looking at, if you're not familiar with these lights. These are the smallest ones I have. I don't know if you can get any smaller. You probably can. As you can see, those are all those lights right in there. Each one of those little spots. So we will take one. And there's our resistor on the line as well. These two are also really nice thin lines, the wires on here. So if I decide not to go with resistors and use other resistors that are, say, on the board or whatever, or if you're using a different board or something, then this would be, you could remove it easily. It's way down here. Whereas if some of the lights I have, the resistors are right up by the light, and that can make it hard to remove them if you need to. But I have the 1mm hole right here. And we can see, actually I'll try to see from this side if that's a big enough hole. So I think it's a 1mm hole. Not quite. Just about. So let's see what other sizes we have. Oh, sorry. Saying sorry to you while I hit my head. Actually, it wasn't my head, it was my goggles. Okay, here's the 1mm I used. Let's double check that that is what I used. Yep, that feels like it's the 1mm. So let's move up. Put my 1mm back. And go 1.2, I guess. There we go, much larger. There we go. Okay. So I'll come in here and there we go. Just like that. All that for 2 seconds of drilling. Okay. Let's see if this will fit in there now. Yes, it does. Can feed it right through. Perfect. So what I'll do is I will put my light in there. And make sure that it doesn't come through. Because this will be a little flasher on top. In the end, what I'm going to have done, there we go, kind of flush. At the end, what I'm going to have done, I'm going to have the little clear resin put on top to make a little bit of a light dome. All right, so there we have it. In place, we'll take some of our CA glue. And we can start CA gluing this down. Like that. Oh, I moved my light. I was just about to say I better check my light to see if it moved. And it did. All right, let's try that again. All right, there we go. Up in there. There we go. It's not sitting proud or anything. Perfect. So what we'll do is take a little kicker. This bottle's just about empty. I got another full one sitting right across over there. So pretty soon I'll be able to change bottles. But there we have it. My little light. You can see it's just right in there. Right near the top, not sticking out, not proud, so perfect. What we can do, because it's still resisted, I can take a 9-volt battery and give it a test. So I keep a 9-volt battery just over here, just for such things. So we have our positive over here, and our negative right here. Yep, and it lights up. You can see in there. So that's going to be our flashing light right there. Yeah, I'm not really connecting it well to the battery, but anyway, there you have it. I can see a little bit of a gap around it. So right now I think I am going to take some UV glue and try to get some in there around it for now to protect from anything else getting in there in case light blocking or anything gets in there. I don't want it to affect the light. So let's look at doing some of that. All right, so we're going to put some UV resin down in this hole here. I've had my UV resin, don't think it's gross, I hope, but sitting in my armpit here. I just tucked it on my arm for a few minutes there just to warm up the resin so it flows really nice. So we'll do that. We'll grab another toothpick. I'll drop a little bit of resin in and around this piece as best as I can. I think that's good for now. What I'll do is I will come in with a Q-tip just to remove any extra resin that might be sitting in there. Sorry, I got a cherry flavored Halls candy in my mouth right now, so sucking on that kind of made that a little red. Anyway, we take our, I don't think I need any more UV glue. I'm not worried about this stuff here. So I will take my UV light and I'll just cure this. All right, that should be good enough. So you can see here it's all dried in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of glue in my wires just a little bit more, kind of towards about the halfway point. Just so that they are kind of held in place. So I'll take my CA glue again and do this. There we go. I'll even put some closer to the light itself. And some kicker. There we go. There we go. We'll let that sit now off to the side here for a little bit. Now we can look back at coming back to under here. So I'll get this all set up and all this cleaned out, and I'll be right back. What I have here are some 3mm red LEDs. This is recommended to me by Jordan, so thank you very much, Jordan. These are 2 to 2.2 volts, and they're unresisted. So this is probably what I'm going to be using here. So let's take a look at one of them. I have one pulled out and set up. It is running on 2.1 right now, volts. You can't see much off of it right now, but when it faces you, it really does light up. So let's see what it looks like in here. Oh, that lights up really nice. Yeah, that's going to be the light we're going to use. So this is a pack of 10, so I could try to flatten down the face of it to see what kind of effect that would have. And that way too it can help with affixing it here to the photon torpedo launcher. So I'll take this off of here and let's see what happens. I'm going to take a really close look at it. You can see where the filament is and what we have to avoid sanding. But it could also change its profile of how it shines out the front or the top. But let's try it anyway. We could take like a grinding wheel or something like that to the rotary tool, but I think for now we'll just start with a sanding stick. Let's see how fast it can take it down this way. Not very. That may be a good thing or a bad thing. Clean my sanding stick off a bit. Okay, so that's it flattened. How does it sit? Looks like it would sit in there just fine. How does it light? So let's check that out. Interesting. How does that look? It definitely diffuses it, that's for sure. But I think it still looks good. And I think it's going to be easier to sit in there with more of a flat front instead of a rounded front as far as attaching it to the resin piece. So I think I'll go with that. I could also come in here now with a polishing stick and polish this a little bit. So maybe let's do that. Trying to film some extra content for you, seeing we're not going to be working on as many things as we were in the past, just until we can kind of get some of these parts. So let's take first a finer sanding stick and just take that, smooth that out a little bit. And then we'll take this polishing stick. You can hear that squeaking? Yeah, that's the good sound you want to hear. That means you are polishing at that point. So let's see what that looks like. Still looking good. Not looking as diffused. We get the benefit of it's sitting a little flusher. And as you can see, if I line that right up for the camera to see, let's find that spot. I can line it up so I can look at it, but yeah, there we go. You can see it now. So yeah, I think that's what I'll be doing. So I'll prepare a few more lights here and I'll be back. Okay, so when I was doing all these bulbs up, the original one I had seemed a little dimmer than the rest. Let's see. So it could be a defective bulb. Yeah, see, that's much dimmer than, say, this one. So let's say this one is defective. And grab us another one. It's good to check your LEDs. And before I seal this up, this will all be, all the LEDs will be burnt in. So let's just check this before I even sand it down. Yeah, that one's good. Okay, let's sand this one down too. Perfect. We have our 4 lights. Now we can look at getting some wires on them and getting them attached into place. So let's get working on that. All right, so now we're going to solder up these lights here. I just want to thank Howard from HTM Models. He was very kind and sent a bunch of us these Omnifixos, which are really good. Much better than those old helping hand crab claw things that, you know, yeah, this is much better. They're held on by magnets. You can move them around however you want. So awesome. Thank you very much, Howard. I really do appreciate this. And this is the first time I'm going to use this. But I've seen lots of other people use it, and they look so handy. So what we'll do is, I don't have any wire cutters, but I will use my sprue cutters. They should be just fine on this thin scale of wire. Yeah, they work just fine. So what I'll do is I'm going to take some wire. I want to be able to go down here. I'm going to have some wire here. Then it's going to come down around the corner, go down. So I'm going to kind of go double that. and just say that long because I just want to get it into the hull of the ship, and then once it's there, it'll be rewired to sync up with other things. So we'll cut ourselves some length of a wire. We'll do our positives and negatives. So I better cut out some of the black wire as well for the negatives. I'm going to do that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my wires all cut to approximately the same length. And what I'm going to do is I'll attach my positive or red wire first. I'm going to cut this down though. I just don't want it sticking out too long into the middle, causing me issues. So we'll cut that off. Take one of our wires and just strip it back a bit using my thumbnail. Okay, now take a little bit of flux, a little bit of solder. Okay, so okay, let's do this. Get that tail out of there. Let's put a little solder on there first. There we go. A little solder there. Maybe a little solder here. And then we'll put the two together. Now, just to remind you all, I am not an expert at lighting. I have really not done much lighting in my modeling career. Nope, that didn't work. Why? Because I am not very proficient at this yet. Okay, let's try that again. So, oh, solder. Oh, okay, that's different. Not what I was expecting. Did that connect? It did, but I don't like the looks of it. It's kind of. I'm not going to cut this, but I want to crimp it. Yeah, okay. So we have our solder connection there. Yeah, I will shrink tube these. Now, let's release that, because I'm done with it. And we'll let that one out. And we'll flip this around and come at it again. From this side. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down again. Get a little solder on the joint here. That didn't join. No, okay, good. There we go. Take our black wire and strip back a little bit. Let's now get this in place. Now how it looks like it's kind of not the good tool, that's because of me. That's my skills. That's not the OmniFixo. Okay, let's try this. Whoa, that's a big blob of solder I don't want. Okay, let's take a look at that. So there we have it. Our first light soldered. Not the best soldering job in the world, but it does get the job done. Let us try and see how this works as far as if I didn't burn the light out or anything. So we'll strip back the other end of the wires and we'll connect it to our it's still 2.1 volts on here. So I really want to make sure that I didn't accidentally burn this out by getting too close to the soldering iron. I don't know, but it looks good. So there we have it, our first light soldered and done. So I'll get some shrink tubing on this, and then I'll do the other ones and I'll come back. All right, so here we are. I have all my lights wired up, all four of them for the torpedoes. And what I'm going to do now is start installing them one by one. And kind of have it plugged in right now because I just want to make sure when I glue it into place that it is in the right place, so it's shining for maximum effect coming out of the torpedo tube. So I have it lit up. Take a little bit of my glue here and some tape. Take some Tamiya tape here. And this, I'm just tacking it down to begin with, and then I'll come in and glue it better once they're in place. So I'm starting to get glue build up on here, and I think I said it in another video, was the best choice for that is to come in with your uncure and get all the extra glue off of here if it starts to clog up. So keep that in mind. Just a quick once over with some uncure does wonders. There we go. It really softens it up. Let's try that again now. Yep. Came out even quicker that time. Okay, just plugging my light back in here. There we go. Grab a toothpick, like that. And this will be our number 1 torpedo tube, I guess. Let's put a little CA there. And get my light into place. Just like that. Okay, make sure I have some kicker on standby. Oh, don't pop that off. All right. Let's try that now. Not even spraying now. Although it is starting to stick. What was that? Oh, now it's moving. Okay, let's try that again. Again with the glue. Maybe this kicker. Well, that one's not spraying. To do it the old-fashioned way. All right, let's take our torpedo, put it on our glue, center it as best as possible, check our positioning, Are we happy with it? I'm happy with that. And there we go. Just like that. And there we have our first one in place. So let me go around and do that, and I'll get the rest of them in place, and I'll show you what I got. So I have my first two lights glued into place here. And what I'm going to do is come in with a hot glue gun, and I'm going to secure it a little bit better in place. So let's do that. There we go. There we go. So that should keep those in place really well. Now what I'll do is get my rear-facing torpedoes in place. So I'll be right back. So here we have it. Our four lights are in there and looking good. You can see there and there. We're going to have some really nice torpedo lights as they fire. One thing I am forgetting that I was told was to use a common ground wire. So we have the positives being the red and the ground wires being the black. I can actually take these blacks and put them all together. Oh, I got a loose one in the bunch here. I can connect them and I'll only come out of here with one wire. So I'm going to do that now, and then we'll work on getting the wires laid down into our trench. So I'll be right back. So here we have it now. I have one common ground, and I have my four individual positives for the LEDs. Now the reason I want four, one of them unplugged I think. Yes it did. Yeah, it's not burnt out. So the reason I want the four positives to be separate is because I want the photons to be able to fire individually. So if I put them all on the same, then they'll all fire exactly the same, which I don't want. So what I'm going to have to do in the end is I'm going to have to number all these wires coming out of here so I know which torpedo is which. And when we have it, this is the front. So the narrow is the front, and it has the larger backside over here. So take that as you will. So here I'm going to have torpedo 1, 2, and on the back 3, 4. So that's what I'm going to have. So as I run the wires down, I will have to number them to keep track. So that's what I could work on now. I'm going to start running my lines. Now for the top, with the light that's in there right now, I know I could have attached this negative to that as well and have the common negative, but I want to kind of keep it on its own. I don't know why, I just do. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to have to put some longer wires on here though, just to ensure that it can make it all the way down to the, down into the rest of the ship. I think it'd be really close, but I don't think I want to risk it. So what we'll do is we will continue on here. I'm going to remove the resistor, and I'm going to add some longer wires. So I'll do that, and I'll be right back. All right, so I have my lights with a larger or longer wires coming off of them, so they should reach into the main hull, no problem. Anything after that in the main hull can be run down, can be resoldered into another line and run down from there. Now, to test my light, I can't do it at 2.1 volts like I'm doing with the reds. The red lights need less. They can't handle as much power. This is a white LED, so we need to turn this up to, say 2.6. That won't light it much, but it will light it. So let's see. There we go. So yeah, there we have it. So it's lights, no problem. So that is hooked up correctly. So now we can run these out of the photon torpedo roll bar area. So what we'll do is I'll disconnect that. What I'll do next is I'll start running my wires down here and gluing them into place. And then also I'll have to, at the same time as I will be doing that, I'll be labeling each wire at the end, so when it comes time to connect these, I'll know which one is which. So I'll get kind of set up with that, and we'll be right back. All right, so here we have our wires ready, and they're all have tape on them to number them. So I'll just go through here, I'll find each one. So here we go. Take my pencil. So I don't like that. Let's try a marker. Got a really fine marker here. Let's try that again. Number 1. And I had PT for photon torpedo. 1. Okay, here's number 2 right here. So we'll take that wire. And again, we'll go PT2. And so on and so forth. There we go. And then we'll take this one over here and we'll attach tape to it and we'll mark it as being the flashlight. So for now, the flashlight stuff and its negative are gonna all go down here along with this negative. The 4 positives are all gonna be on this side, because when I did my trenching here, if you watched the previous video, you'll notice that I kind of discovered 4 is kind of the number of wires I can fit at this gauge of wire. So now it doesn't matter if these wires get messed up which one's which, because in the end I'll know, you know, on the end which torpedo is which. But I will try to keep them in a nice order as I glue them in place. Now the deeper gouge I think is on this side, not by much, but yeah. So what we're gonna do, take our CA glue and our kicker, which isn't really working so well, so I'm gonna have to be careful and just use it to touch. So put a little CA glue there. There we go. Get you in there. There. How's that? No. There we go. I should allow it to snag that one. And I guess I could put it all the way down here to the bottom. Keeping it nice and tight, like a tagger. Okay, there we go. And some kicker. So there we go, there's our first one in place. We'll get the next one in place beside it. my finger didn't help much. Let's try that again. There we go. That's the second one. There we go. Didn't need quite that much kicker. And again, we'll pull it down beside. Nice and tight. Like a predatory cat of some sort, of some description. All right, so first one seems to slacken off a bit. Oh well. Okay, so tiniest little drop and a big drop. Hey, look, my head's not getting in the way. Isn't that nice? Nice, refreshing change of pace from the last video. Here we come with number 3. So we'll tuck that in as tight as we can. Again, put a little CA glue there. Just enough to join those. Take my kicker and put it on there. All right. Let's pull that nice and tight next to it. Like that. Okay. There's that one and the final one. Guide it in here. Get rid of these little spider webs from the hot glue, cobwebs or whatever, of other glue. Okay, so we'll put it in like that, and put our glue there. There we go. And run the final wire down. And the only reason I'm running them like this, nice and, you know, close together, is I want to keep it as flat as possible through the trench. So let's a little bit more glue, flatten it out, and some kicker. There we have it. Now we can take these in here closer. So you can see you got to be careful with kicker because it is no friend to paint. Okay, so we'll make sure these are all nice and flat in the trench right there. Put a little glue and some kicker. And again, get my wires nice and tight, like a cat. There we go. I'd say tight like a guitar string, but no, that's not very tight. In this case, my wires aren't that tight, like a guitar string. Just ask my good friend Jody over at Check Mods. He knows about guitar strings. All right, so there we go. So let's take a look and see how that's going to fit. So is this going to stay so that I can glue these down? Okay, so far looking good. I think just right here is going to be my issue. And I may have to cut out more for where it is feeding out through into the superphaser. You can see that's what we have. The back, again, good. The back's actually really good. It's just the front here. There's going to be a gap right here. Well, you know, maybe, maybe not. Yeah, okay, so I will need to thin this out just a little bit more, I think. So I'll do that, and I'll come back. I think for now this is going to be enough for this episode. You kind of get the idea. So what I'm going to do on this side is I'll run down the wires from here on the top. They'll come down this side as well as this negative. So only 3 wires on this side. Okay. So and I'm not going to be closing this up just quite yet because I'm going to be burning in these lights. So I'm going to have them running for 24 hours to make sure that they're still good. I know, Howard, I did not test them before I installed them. However, they're not completely installed yet. I have to do them separately because these lights here, the red ones, will all have to be tested at about 2.1, 2.2, somewhere in there. And these lights will have to be around 2.8 probably to 3 for the top light. So I'm going to work on that, and we'll come back in the next episode, and we should be ready to start on sealing this all up and attaching our superphasers to complete our whole roll bar assembly, which will eventually connect down to our warp nacelles. So thanks for watching. I highly encourage you to go watch Jordan's video to see how he's doing it. I'd also like to throw a shout out to Trek Mods and Jody over there. Go check out his stuff. He's got a lot of great stuff on the go. Another shout out to Will at the Ensign's Chair. He created a lot of these great parts for this entire build. And also a thanks to Lake Monster Details for all their assistance in getting these great parts for us. Some of them are existing parts already, some aren't. So thanks again for all that. And we'll see you guys in the next one. You guys take care. I'll see you then.